What's going on? It's Maher here, and I'm going to teach you how to get some tax-free unemployment money. So just for some context here, the latest stimulus bill that was just passed, that $1.9 trillion stimulus banger that was just passed, included unemployment boosts continuing at $300 per week through September 6th. Now, this extends pandemic unemployment much longer than ever expected, and alongside that, there was a little bit of an unexpected side program that allows for $10,200 in tax-free unemployment benefits for 2020. Now, this doesn't apply for 2021 tax benefits. We might see additional programs here, but as of now, we just have the $10,200 in tax-free benefits for 2020 pandemic unemployment, and this is only for federal taxes. But this does work both for you and if you have a spouse, $10,200 for each of you. So this is, let's talk about the details here first. Basically how it works is you get up to $10,200 in tax-free benefits on the federal level for each individual. So let's say you had $15,000 in unemployment and your spouse had $5,000 in unemployment. You'd get that $10,200, they'd get $5,000. It's not exactly combined. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But remember, this doesn't count for state taxes. So you may still have to pay state taxes on your unemployment benefits. So remember that. Also, something important to note is taxes were just extended to May 17th. So anything you learn here, we can sit on just for a little while and you can rest easy knowing you have a little bit of extra time to file your taxes. Also, if you're looking for an additional, just little kind of stimulus boost, you can check out the link in my description for Webull, where you can get 2 completely free stocks. All you have to do is deposit $100. You get 2 free stocks. Is an awesome deal. Pretty much all my friends and family have done it. You get free stocks. Check that out if you're interested at all in the stock market. So now let's go ahead and learn how to calculate the credit, how you can receive the tax-free benefits here for unemployment. So we're going to go over to the IRS website first and just do some defining of terms. So we can see this applies for anyone who had a modified adjusted gross income. We're going to define what modified adjusted gross income is of less than $150,000 in 2020. And this is per the American Rescue Plan that was just enacted. And this is in the amount of up to $10,200 per individual. Also, as I mentioned earlier, caution here, because your state may still require taxes for your unemployment boost. We're going to explain this line in just a second. Now, the IRS gave this worksheet, but frankly, this thing is not user-friendly at all. So what I did, I went ahead and made a spreadsheet that will calculate everything for us. You can download this spreadsheet with a link in the description if you choose to use this as well. Maybe you want to kind of have this video next to the side and you can kind of go back and forth and do each step along the way. Also, make sure you share this video if you find it valuable at all. But let's go through this spreadsheet because it's still pretty confusing. So step 1, enter the total of lines 1 through 7 of Form 1040. So we're going to go over to our Form 1040 and look at lines 1 through 7. So we can see lines 1 through 7 right here. We're going to add those up. Note that down. For this example, we're just doing $1,000. So note that $1,000 for this example, and Schedule 1 lines 1 through 7. So we're going to go to our Schedule 1. Also lines 1 through 7. In this case, we had $7,000. $5,000 of that was for unemployment compensation. If you don't know your exact unemployment compensation number, that should be on your Form 1099-G that you received from the state. You may have either received it by mail or electronically. This is where your unemployment compensation number would be, right where I wrote here. For this example, we're doing $5,000. I'm going to do another example with a spouse in just a second. So we have the total here, $7,000 plus $1,000, that comes out to $8,000, and we're going to put that in this box. Next, use the line 8 instruction to determine the amount to include on the Schedule 1 line 8 and enter that in here. So we go back over to the IRS website and we can see the instructions for that are for married taxpayers, you and your spouse can each exclude up to $10,200 of unemployment compensation. For example, if you were paid $20,000 of unemployment and your spouse is paid $5,000, report $25,000. So you can each only get up to $10,200 individually. So in this case, you'd report $15,200 of that $25,000 on line 8 as a negative amount. So in this example, we only received $5,000 in unemployment compensation. So we're going to use 5,000 as that figure, and we punch in $5,000 here. It auto-calculates for us. Step 4, enter in the total from line 10B of Form 1040. So we go up to Form 1040, 10B. This is charitable contributions. So this is where we're adding in some deductions in order to get our modified adjusted gross income. So in this case, we don't have anything. We go back over. We also need to get our Schedule 1 lines 10 through 21. So go to the Schedule 1, lines 10 through 21. That's the total on line 22. We can see here, line 22. So we're going to add that up. This is just more deductions. In our case, we're just doing 0. So we're going to put in 0 here. Yours might be slightly different. Then you subtract line 4 from line 3. This is the total that we get. This is our new adjusted gross income. Now, this is a qualifying question. Is the amount on line 5, which is this line, $150,000 or more? If yes, you can't go any further. I made this kind of fancy, so if you enter yes, it's red. If you enter no, it's green. In our case, no, green means go. Go ahead and move on to the next step. Number 7, enter the amount of unemployment compensation paid to you in 2020. Don't enter more than $10,200. Remember, we can go over to our 1099-G, get that number if you need some reference there. We're just doing $5,000 for this example, and that's not more than that $10,200 cap. If married, filing jointly, enter in your spouses. We're not doing a spouse in this example. Then you add those two together. Subtract line 9 from line 2. In this case, it's 0. Then enter in the amount on your Schedule 1, line 8. So remember, this is the number that we calculated earlier. It's going to be that negative number that goes here. So in this case, it's negative 5,000. And then this gives us the total, which also is negative 5,000 in this case. Now you take that number, enter it in on your Schedule 1, line 8, and then write UCE next to it. So we go to our Schedule 1, line 8. This is a negative number, remember, so you put it in parentheses. You do UCE. Then you follow that again by the same amount in parentheses. And you're good to go. Now let's do an example for a couple. We'll just use the same numbers that the IRS used in the example above. So we're just going to clear out these boxes here real quick. So we're just going to use the same number here from last time, which was 7,000. And then we have our line 8. And we're using this example here where the couple received $20,000 in unemployment compensation for one person, $5,000 for the other. The total that they receive in benefits is $15,200. So we're going to enter in $15,200 here. This automatically adds that together. Enter in your deductions. We're not going to do any deductions again. Is this amount $150,000 or more? The answer here is no, it's not. Boom, we're good to go. Green means go. Enter the amount of unemployment compensation paid to you in 2020. So that's $10,200. It says do not do more than $10,200. In this example, you actually received $15,000, but you're only doing that cap of $10,200, and your spouse received $5,000. So you add those together, $15,200. Subtract line 9 from line 2, which is also 0. Enter the amount on your Schedule 1, line 18, which was this number, but negative $15,200. So negative 15,200, and we get negative 15,200 for the amount to then enter on our Schedule 1, which would go right here. We would leave that UCE here, and we just change this again to 15,200. So it's really that easy. And the next question is, what if you already filed your taxes for 2020? What should you do? Well, the IRS, as of right now, says do not amend your taxes. They're going to come out with some kind of documentation that will allow you to amend them. Basically, they're very bogged down right now with all the tax returns and the stimulus checks and processing, all of that craziness that they're not used to processing. So if you haven't filed yet, you can hold off. Chances are, if you are filing your taxes electronically through a service like TurboTax or some other tax preparer service, you're not going to have to use this spreadsheet and do all these calculations yourself. It should be very automated. However, this may not be out quite yet on the tax software because this just came into effect the other day. So my advice here is, if at all possible, just wait a week or two to file your taxes. That way, whoever your tax preparer is has some time to make modifications on their system. Then by the time you apply, it'll all be automated and you're not going to have to worry about this spreadsheet. But I still think it's valuable to understand how exactly this works. Again, if you want that spreadsheet, it's linked in the description. I hope that this was helpful, just an understanding as to how all of this works. I would just like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.